Pulse doo 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 doo. The Pulse doo 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 doo.
You're listening to the Pulse of the Eastern Townships. On today's show, we're looking at two very different but equally timely stories shaping life in the region. First, cryptocurrency is back in the headlines, with sharp price swings and renewed interest from everyday investors. To help cut through the hype, I spoke with Robert Palmer, chair of the William School of Business at Bishop's University, about what cryptocurrency actually is, what gives it value, and the risks people should understand before getting involved. After that, we turn to the local arts and creative economy, with a look inside Studio 13 in Lennoxville, a new shared production space already playing a key role in a Sherbrooke-made police drama pilot filmed entirely in the Eastern Townships. Hello, I'm William Crooks with the Pulse of the Eastern Townships. Cryptocurrency is once again making headlines, with Bitcoin prices swinging sharply and more people wondering whether digital currencies are an opportunity or a risk. To help make sense of it all, I spoke with Robert Palmer, chair of the William School of Business at Bishop's University. In this interview, Palmer explains what cryptocurrency actually is, what gives it value, why Bitcoin behaves so differently from traditional investments, and what everyday investors, especially younger ones, should keep in mind before putting money into crypto. Here's our conversation. What's your background and what's your relationship to Bishop's, Dr. Palmer?
Sure. I am the chair of the William School of Business. I've been there 20 years. I'm a marketing and strategy professor there.
What is cryptocurrency?
Sure. To me, cryptocurrency, covers a broad range of items, right? But at the end, it really is one way for companies to use the blockchain to monetize through either something of value, either a cryptocurrency, an NFT, or a stable coin itself. So again, cryptocurrency is any form of something that has value that's stored on a ledger or blockchain.
Okay, so what gives it value?
That is dependent on what they call for every stable coin or everything, right? You have an investor deck, right? And what is the investment is really what underlies it is either like what's on the blockchain, it's either information or data or access to a currency, right? Or a stable coin. So a stable coin just essentially means they guarantee that it is equal $1 of a real currency, so it's the US dollar itself. And what happens is it's like a finite amount of object that's worth value, and that it's worth X amount. And based on that value of that coin, it goes up or down based on what it's holding.
When people think of cryptocurrencies, they normally think about Bitcoin. What can you tell me about that?
Now, a lot about Bitcoin. So when you look at Bitcoin, right? Majority of Bitcoin, right, is it's just always known as the largest cryptocurrency just because it was one of the first primary ones, right? So really, you mine Bitcoin by just using a mathematical formula, right? And it takes lots of energy. So it's just imagine like a Bitcoin, there's a limited amount of Bitcoin out there that you can buy things with just Bitcoin, right? So you can buy other cryptocurrencies, you can buy houses, you can buy islands on it, right? So there's inherent value to the Bitcoin itself because it's a rare amount. So when you look at Bitcoin, most Bitcoin, almost 70% of Bitcoin is never traded, right? So it just stays in someone's wallet and stays there. It could be a fraction of a Bitcoin, 0.01%. About 20-30% of Bitcoin is heavily traded. That's why when you see it go up from like 15,000 to 160,000 to now under 100,000, right? That is in that 30% of the trading cycle. And again, it's just like when you trade anything, just imagine like there's only a limited amount of supply. And when you convert it out of Bitcoin into hard currency, you usually take a loss. But if you can buy stuff with just Bitcoin, right? So that's really where the best value kind of lies with cryptocurrencies, when you use it to buy something, physical asset or digital asset with it.
Could you explain what mining Bitcoin means?
Sure. So when you Bitcoin, it requires like computing power because it's a mathematical formula, right? So you have people who build their own Bitcoin mining farms, but they hook up 5 personal computers, and it takes a while because you need power, right? So when you look at Bitcoin mining farms, right, it's all these high-end computers that will calculate a computation, which we're doing algorithm. And what happens is that when you create the Bitcoin, it adds it to the ledger, which is what really Bitcoin is always about, right? So it's always about an open ledger, so everyone knows how much Bitcoin is in circulation. Because right now you have no idea how many Canadian dollars are in circulation, but Bitcoin, because it's an open ledger, you know exactly how much is out there, and you know how much gets created. So that's how it is. So what happens is Bitcoin gets created through people doing these Bitcoin farms, and when you mine a Bitcoin, you get a mining fee, which is a percentage, but and then you don't get to keep the Bitcoin, but you can buy it if you want to, like you pay what is the going price for Bitcoin. So you get a mining fee to produce a Bitcoin.
Why would a country like, say, El Salvador buy Bitcoin? What's in it for them?
El Salvador, again, I think when you look at it, it was just, I think, more of a line of just trying to break away from like a traditional reserve currency like the U.S. dollar. Second thing is, like, I mean, their asset, like, no one's buying Salvadoran dollars, right, to go in and on Forex, like currency foreign exchange. So they just went to Bitcoin to kind of be a little bit different, provide people with a more stable currency than the El Salvadoran dollar without being tied to the U.S. dollar, which is like the traditional, currency used around the world. So when you go to Latin America, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, you always see 2 prices, local currency, and you pay in U.S. dollars. So that's why they just went to Bitcoin. And the government of El Salvador is always about trying to be a little bit more open and more tied to progress.
How would you compare investing in Bitcoin to normal stock market investing?
Both are, stock market investing, the majority of shares are owned by, larger investors or like portfolios or ETFs or funds, right? So it's when you look at the retail investor, those are small investors, like, regular human beings just investing their pension plans or self-directed RSPs. You look at the market now, there's big dramatic shift in market. You can see the Dow and the NASDAQ go down 1%, 1.5% a day. So that's what we call like momentum trading, where you try to get as much money and stocks just swing wildly. You can see like Tesla going down like 4 or 6% a day sometimes, and it just gets crazy. When you look at cryptocurrency right now, institutional investors like more. Banks are trying to buy more into it, and even large companies are buying into Bitcoin. But most of it's driven by retail investors, and those are the ones who probably lose the most money. So when you see the volatility, those retail investors are looking for a very quick gain. They want to see it go up like 30% or 40% gain like in a few days or weeks. And that's usually when they have to sell. Like right now, it's like, right now Bitcoin has dropped very much. So that really hurts the retail investor who probably took out leverage to buy it. So they didn't have the full money to buy the Bitcoin. So what you do is you leverage it. So even if you have like $50 in your account, you can actually buy it. They lend you that money, right? So when you get it, you have to pay that back, that bigger amount, which obviously you don't have, right? So that's where a lot of investors get in trouble itself. So when you look at Robinhood, like during meme stocks, the same issue where people had margins, and then you get a margin call where you have to pay back the money that you didn't know you borrowed. And that's what happens with like crypto spaces, because people buy coins that have very little value or shift drastically, and they don't have the money, or they experience large losses like they're doing right now.
What can you tell me about online influencers starting their own coin and then doing something called a rug pull?
Absolutely. So rug pulls are unfortunately a little too common in blockchain. Remember, at the end, there's something of value behind every currency, right? So U.S. dollar, you're buying the U.S. economy, right? You're buying the U.S. government and all that you know that a dollar will be worth $1 and that it's trusted that it's going to control inflation, right? So when you see meme coins, what happens is it's something that you You're buying because of potentially the limited supply, and you believe it's going to go up in value inherently because of some asset value. When an influencer buys it, right, or they promote a coin, it may not be their own coin. And what happens is rug pull is when that person takes out the money or they sell as much of it at a peak. So when you sell something, right, even when you sell shares, like Berkshire Hathaway sells shares at companies, it drops the market because they're trying to sell as many shares at a price, and as no one wants to buy that price, the price drops. So that's what a rug pull is, where the person founding sells the majority of the coin because they have the majority of the coins because they made the coin, right? And they sell it and it drops the price. So every winner in a stock market, there's a loser, right? Because you have to sell and buy. So whoever's bought it at the high may have to sell at the low, and maybe not buyers because there's someone always willing to sell at a lower price, so the price keeps on dropping. So that's a rug pull.
Let's say you're a 20-year-old kid, you're just getting out of CEGEP, you want to put your money somewhere. What should you specifically be thinking about before you put any money in crypto?
At the end, I wouldn't probably put in crypto. At the end, at a younger age, right, you have a higher risk. You can take more risks, right? Just because if you lose money, you're still many years from retirement, right? So you can always, as you get older, your investment portfolio should have lower risk because you have less years of time to make up the difference, right? When you do crypto, right, you have to do a lot of research, and you can buy it on Wealthsimple now, Robinhood, different apps have it, right? But you can buy a stable coin, right, which is just linked to your currency, but very little fluctuation. You can buy Bitcoin, right? You can buy ATF as well, now that it's based on different cryptocurrency or basket of cryptocurrencies, but then you pay a small little fee for, like, say, traditional ETF. But you have to do a lot of research, right? Like, I remember, like, NFTs used to be all the wave, and I used to actually even help market NFTs and create them, and it's hard because, like, you're buying something of visual asset of a painting, but it's only value if there's a market for it. So that's where it's always hard. So if you just start it's easier always to invest in stocks. Even if you buy a fractional stock from a bigger company, or, like, really not going to do bonds because bonds is a very low, kind of more portfolio-based thing. But crypto, you have to do your research. You have to make sure you understand what you're buying, which coin, who's backing it. So you can buy, like, a Solana coin, which is, like, very environmentally friendly, uses less energy, versus a Bitcoin, which uses a lot of energy but more widely known.
Anything my questions miss, something important that you'd like to add?
I think at the end, really what is driving Bitcoin, like anything like the stock market going up, right? You can never kind of attach Bitcoin's rise or the rise of stocks to the economy, right? Because the economy right now is probably doing worse, but the stock market's reaching all-time high, right? And that's that disconnect, right? And if you look at the stock market, it's really driven by the AI stocks and a few larger stocks that's driving up most of the stock market index that people look at. But then you look at cryptocurrencies, everyone sees Bitcoin going through the roof, but they assume all cryptocurrencies are the same when they're not, right? And I think that's where you have to really, when everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin's going through the roof, that means all coins should benefit. That's not really the case, right? So, I mean, that's really where you have to really look at the market, understand the coin, understand the shares. Not every share is going up right now. A lot of shares have gone down, but AI stocks have gone through the roof. NVIDIA, Nebius, you can see shares have gone through the roof, and others just haven't, right? And that's when you're understand what is connected and what's behind the coin or what's behind the performance of a stock.
That was Robert Palmer, chair of the William School of Business at Bishop's University, speaking with the Pulse of the Eastern Townships about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the risks facing retail investors. Palmer emphasized the importance of understanding what sits behind any digital coin and warned against confusing hype with long-term value. You can read the full article and find more local news and interviews at pulsetownships.com. For the Pulse of the Eastern Townships, I'm William Crooks. Keep that finger on the pulse. You're listening to the Pulse of the Eastern Townships. Today we're heading into Lennoxville to talk about a new creative space that's quietly changing how film and media projects are made in the region. Studio 13 opened its doors just over a year ago, bringing together post-production, sound, equipment rental, and creative collaboration under one roof. It's already playing a key role in Beckett, a Sherbrooke-made police drama pilot that was filmed entirely in the region and recently screened privately. I spoke with Yvan Pinard, owner of the post-production company Ludafilm and instigator of Studio 13, as well as Johan Gass, president of Oniric and the creator of Beckett. We talked about building a local film ecosystem outside Montreal, why Lennoxville was the right fit, and what it takes to get a major screen project off the ground in the Eastern Townships. Here's that conversation. All right, guys, so Studio 13's been around for a year, right?
Yeah, correct. Officially starting like September 1st of last year.
All right, Johan, so tell me about Beckett.
I must just warn you because Beckett, for the moment, is a pilot of a series, an episodic, but it's not released publicly. So you can mention it as the pilot has been done, but it's not released. It's not public. We are searching for 3 or 4 million now to do the first season of 8 episodes of 42 minutes, but we have done the first episode, so it's 42 minutes of fiction. It's a heavy series of fiction, but you must mention that for the moment it's not available for the public. The event we did was avant-première, and it was private because I explained to you because we will try to have some prize in festivals internationally or nationally, and it must be to have access to this festival. It must be a premiere.
Okay, understood. Tell me a little bit about what Beckett is about.
Okay, so Beckett, it's 42 minutes. It's a police series, and one of the main characters of Beckett is the town, is Sherbrooke. So it's Caroline Beckett is a cop from the service, the police of Sherbrooke. So we have the alliance, we have the corporation of the police station of Sherbrooke, and it's Caroline Beckett is a sergeant detective, and she must go to all the underground world to answer a question and son enquête. How do you say enquête?
Investigation.
So she must go to the underworld and all the the punk street music atmosphere and all the rave. And that's why there is a mask. There is a guy. She's searching a guy who wear a mask, and she must go in this world. And for that, she must. The theme is all the fear of the other, all the what she must become more aware of this reality. So all in French, les préjugés. She must. Past her préjugé, how do you say préjugé in
Prejudice.
Prejudice, yeah. So she must pass. She must evolve to in order to succeed.
And it was entirely filmed in Sherbrooke, Beckett.
Yeah, all the actors, all the crew, all the production facilities. It was 100% in Sherbrooke. So that's the revolution here. It's not a team from Montreal doing a show in Sherbrooke. It's a show from Sherbrooke, in Sherbrooke. So, yeah, and that's why the Studio 13 is so important it's a revolution for our industry, the cinema industry of Sherbrooke. It's not Montreal, it's Sherbrooke. It's Lennoxville.
You sound like you're from France, Johan.
Yeah, I came from France. I'm both French and Canadian. I arrived in Sherbrooke in 2006, and I'm from Alsace, so it's northeast of France.
Okay, great. Is this your first production, one in a long line of productions? What is Beckett for you?
Yeah, so in Studio 13, I've got my company, production company with my partner, Julien-Pierre Bélanger. It's called Oniric. So Oniric, we did a lot of commercial advertising for small businesses, but I've done too some short movies. One of these short movies, Vision, have been to Fantasia and in Uruguay too, and in Italy. It has some prizes, rewards. But it's the first time I'm doing a 42 minutes, so it's close to be a movie. So it was the first time I did this sort of production, and I love it. I learned so much. So in the same time, as a young director, I'm at the beginning of my career, and I'm very attached to the territory, to Sherbrooke. I don't want to make movie in Montreal, so I'm very interested that the industry here is growing, and I want to be part of it.
The Pulse covers the English community in the townships. Is there any connection at all between Beckett and the English community?
Yeah, actually, it's bilingual. Yeah. I forget to tell you about that, but part of the dialogue are in English because part of the actor were English speaker. So more often the people in the street, like there is two people who speak English, and Beckett speak English to them too a little. So yeah, there is some English language, and I want. With the whole season, I want to introduce maybe a policeman, a partner for Beckett, and maybe he will be English speaker too.
How is Beckett going to work? Is it a different story each episode, or does one story carry on over the whole season?
No. It's because the first episodic is just the beginning, because all the crests and the enquête investigation, it will go all around along the first season. So I've got a lot of idea in my mind. I've got some great line, but we must have the financing to write it, because I co-write it with a friend, Olivier Desraux. So we're searching like 4 million now to write the end, all of the story, and to produce it and to release it.
All right, Yvan. Studio 13 in Lennoxville. Why Lennoxville, and what have you guys been up to for the past year?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, we were a group of people in the community that were looking to have a space because we were sharing the same goal of like developing our business in the cinema, audiovisual industry. And it's been like, it's not a new idea. Like people are talking about that for years, like probably 7, 8, 9 years. It's like, oh, we need more services, we need more resources, we need to put resources together because it's not easy to build. Like each different companies differently and things like that. So eventually we just kind of did it. We gathered all together. We're like, yeah, let's find a place, and a lot of people in the industry, like they're just working from home, or like, yeah, they're set up. Some people are super nice set up, studios set up for sound and stuff like that at home or editing, but everyone's separate and it's kind of, it's not the best. So we just, in 2024 was like, I really had to get out of my house. I'm like, no, I want to have a space back, and anyway, so we all gathered together, found a space, and we visited a few places, but like you want to go, like, let's say you're like, oh, let's check Sherbrooke downtown, stuff like that, but downtown is really busy, and for different reasons. For our business, we need to have trucks, we have a lot of gear, we need, like, a garage and stuff like that, parking, and we also wanted to have a space that has, like, some kind of a artsy feeling already, some kind of a, like, spirit to it and all that stuff. So we visited a few places here and there, and Lennoxville always been, like, a place that's really unique. There's something unique about the city here. There's something, I don't know, there's a different feel to it. Like, when I moved in 2020, I was in Toronto before, and we were looking to buy here as well. For that reason, like, it's hard to put into words, but there's something really community-wise that's attracting. There's a Shaw's University that's here, and I don't know, there's really something special. So when we found that place here on 13 Connolly, it was like a perfect fit. I met Grant Simeo, which is an awesome person, and he's already been doing, like, photograph here. He had a studio set up. So there was already things there kind of set up for us. It almost felt like, hey, it's meant to be here kind of thing. Yeah, we need to put a bit of love in the place and stuff to adapt it to our needs. But and Grant was, like, on board, super supportive. He was actually hoping that some people, because he was retiring, so he was like, hopefully this place can still be a creative space kind of thing. He was already kind of doing some efforts into, like, building relationship with the university and the city and say, hey, can we do something here that's going to be, like, artistic oriented? And we just arrived and had that goal, which was, like, not exactly the same, but quite similar, in a similar industry as well. You know, photography and you know, shooting films and stuff. It's definitely related. So we found a place, and we just took it. And Lennoxville, like I said, it's a perfect spot. Like, we're close to everything. There's a nice community here. Nice restaurants, Shaw's University, nice vibe, you know, a nice artistic vibe as well. Square screen right there, with shows, music shows, and, like, you know, some kind of festivals in the summer and stuff. It's really a perfect fit for our industry, and we're hoping we can bring to it as well somehow, you know, like with our businesses and what we do. And now,
and you must know that Studio 13 is all our companies offer services. So there is a services for renting video and video gear. It's Du Levant. It's a new company. There is a music studio, so for young people to record their music. There is an animation studio with there is a lot of
no, that's great. That's a great point. Like, we're like 10 companies right now, and like some kind of an ecosystem, right? So yes, you can come, and there's a shooting studio you can use, but you can rent the gear right there from another company. And, like, now that we have the sound studio as well, with
and the data wrangling too.
Yep. We've got equipment here and stuff. So it's and there's also, like, some sections of the offices here that are more like open space, where we have different freelancers working here as well. So we're really building that ecosystem slash a space to, we like to call it, like, instead of co-working, we like to call it co-being, because of one of the guy that's with us, John Acuna, who was like, yeah, that's how we should phrase it. It's like the co-being. It's not just working, it's about being together and being creative and supporting each other kind of thing. So that's the space.
And what we want to do is, like, if some artist or some production company comes here in Studio 13, we can do all here, and we can create together. It's a place to create some audio-visual content. So we love to meet some new people who want to create, who want to use their service, but our services, but to co-create. You know, we're a lot of creator, and we do some business, but we want to create a community, and this ecosystem is meant for that.
You mentioned Bishop's University. Have any students used any of your services?
Well, it's funny because not specifically yet, but those
we have a link.
Yeah, exactly. We a couple of people from Bishop's came and visit. They think we have, like, some interesting settings here that we could potentially use, and I mean, the thing is, here at the studio, it's a long-term project, and, you know, like, I don't know, like for me, it's something we want to, yes, we want to develop those relationships for sure. I know how it works. It takes time. It's universities, it's institutions, things like that. It's the city. So I just hope that people will see what we're doing. Hopefully we can inspire people. There can be some match with training. That's something here we would definitely like to develop.
We began with the Vélo.
Yeah, project.
There is Ben Stava, he's the director of communication at Bishop University. He did a short movie and he ran some of our stuff. I've got a good relation with him. And with a project, Vélo, it's documentaire Vélo, we have some student team, not in Bishop, it's in Bishop College, but we mentor some students to do a documentary that will be present in the 1st of May, I think, at La Maison du Cinéma. So there is a student from Cégep of Sherbrooke, Bishop College, University of Sherbrooke, and Cégep de Granby, who will do all their short documentary that will be present. So it's beginning, yeah.
Yeah, and we think there's really a space for that, for training purposes, just for new I don't know how to say, new generations, like
the next generation of filmmakers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're hoping we can use a place for that as well, like that kind of partnership. And we're already working with an ad center. I don't know if you're familiar, but that's pretty cool. That's in downtown under UNISA. Now, right now they more have like game classes, but video game classes. But we're trying to see as well as their partnership there with kids, because there's other, like, there's rumors about other studios as well, not in Sherbrooke specifically, but let's say in a certain range from here, that might, pop up eventually. And it's like, we're going to need to train more people. So I think it's a good place here as well to develop that kind of space.
Yeah, and to create, Studio 13, I think it will be great to have a legacy, and that Studio 13 will be here for a long time. It will be like a reference, and that young filmmaker or aspirant director, producer, or whatever, they can grow with us, and that one day maybe they will, like we did with grants, that they can take the place, and that it will be continuing to be an inspiring spot.
Why Studio 13? Isn't 13 an unlucky number?
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we've been asked that a lot. I mean, there's a couple of reasons. Like, the first one, that's an easy one. It's like, the address is actually 13 Connolly, right? So the number is right there. That's one of the reasons. The other reason as well is we built a special relationship with Grant, which was the previous owner. And 13 always meant a lot for him for different reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. But it was also some kind of not a legacy, but some kind of we wanted to keep, I don't know, something definitely that would remind about Grant as well. So that's another part of the reason.
And Studio 13, it's like I don't know. The 13 is special, and we did things differently. So Studio 13 is like we're different. And one thing I want to mention too is Yvan is very modest, but Yvan he buy the building like 6 months ago, and he did all the renovation of the place. So he take a lot of risk, and it's very admirable because if Yvan was not there, Studio 13 will not be there for sure. So he put a lot of love and energy in the building, in the infrastructure with all the database server, and it's amazing. So we're very happy to have him. It's amazing what he does, and he wants to be part of the community. He's very involved with Lennoxville. So Yvan Pinard is very. You must mention it. Very big in your article.
Okay, so Beckett is the main thing right now, but what future things are coming up that people might want to know about?
Yeah, there is a docu-velo with Oniric we produce. The studio of music is the sub-studio. They will pay like
that's a really nice point. Like the sound studio that just joined us in September is called the Sub Lennox. And yeah, they put up together like a program with La
Ruche social financing.
Yeah, and they're gonna have like they're gonna give the chance to 50 kids. I think it's
teen or younger artists,
young 20s or whatever.
Minus the 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Year.
Exactly. So they're gonna give the chance to younger artists to come and record like a song or get some experience mixing, to have the experience of being in a audio, like a recording studio for free, because they've been able to put together this social financing, and they have a fund called Fonds Million from the Quebec province who are doubling the money that people were giving. So they've been able to put a really nice program. So there's going to be artists that are going to come to record. It's a really nice opportunity for young people. And I mean, on the other side, I think, like in terms of projects that are coming, like we have a production company here that is called Rapid Blanc, and they have a couple of movies funded. They do documentaries, they do impact film for festivals on important topics. So they've got 2 important movies that just got funded by Telefilm and by SODEC.
Yeah.
So we will collaborate on those movies with Rapid Blanc for sure. So that's a really good news. And in terms of other projects, there's always different artists. Like I know we've been approached by multiple artists who are applying for funds for short films, for different projects that they want to use the studio or they want to work with Oniric or rent some gear and stuff like that. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty coming. There's not necessarily a huge film right now.
Yeah. But we're working out to. With Oniric, there is Oniric Film and Oniric Production. With Oniric Film, we want to push hard for Beckett to have a whole season. It will be like a game changer for a lot of things.
Yeah.
But with Oniric Production, we're continuing to do some commercial advertising with the Grifa of Quaticook, with MRC Quaticook. We want to have more and more business too in the region to solidify our existence too, because it's hard to do movies. So with all the commercial work, we were able to produce Beckett. So it's part of commercial and artistic. So yeah, it's very important to us to be present in the community and with small to big business in the region to make some commercial and film commercial. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like what's super interesting as well is that we don't know exactly what's coming. We cannot predict the future, but one thing we can see right now is everyone who come and visits are really, really exciting about the place. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, that's what we needed. That's what I would like to have. Like, wow, I wanted to build that kind of place." I'm glad some people are doing it, and it's really a magnet for like a lot of people in the industry that you don't even know. They are in Lennoxville, or they are in Sherbrooke, or they are in Eastern Townships. So it's also a way to just attract people with a lot of talent, experience. We don't know, but there's quite a lot of people around here that can bring a lot to the community. So we don't know who's going to come next and be like, hey, I want to do this or that. So there's a lot of exciting coming, I think.
What is amazing is that it's just 1 year. It's just the beginning. It's amazing what we did in 1 year. You must visit, honestly.
That was Yvan Pinard of Liddy Film and Studio 13, along with Johan Gass, president of Oniric and the creator of the police drama Beckett. The pilot episode has been completed and screened privately, with the production team now seeking financing to move forward with a full first season. Meanwhile, Studio 13 continues to grow as a shared creative hub in Lennoxville, supporting film, music, and audiovisual projects from across the Eastern Townships. You can find more local arts, culture, and community reporting at the Pulse of the Eastern Townships. I'm William Crooks. Thanks for listening, and always remember, keep that finger on the pulse. That brings us to the end of today's edition of the Pulse of the Eastern Townships. You heard from Robert Palmer of Bishop's University on the realities and risks of cryptocurrency investing, and from Yvon Pinard and Johan Gass on Studio 13 and the growing film and media ecosystem taking shape right here in the Eastern Townships. You can read the full stories and find more local news, culture, and in-depth interviews at pulsetownships.com. For the Pulse of the Eastern Townships, I'm William Crooks. Thanks for listening, and keep that finger on the pulse.
The pulse do 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 do. The pulse do 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 do. Townships interviews. Don't forget breaking news. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse. Broadcast just for you. Heading out for a cruise, or lying there for a snooze. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse. Broadcast just for you. Hey, I know that guy. Hey, I know that gal too. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse. Broadcast just for you. The townships are the muse. Make sure to choose the pulse, the pulse, the pulse, the pulse. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse, the pulse. The pulse of the Eastern Townships broadcast just for you.